Hey guys, Will here, Flaws Exotic Creations. Wanted to talk to you just a little bit, giving you perspective on business. We have not been doing ball pythons for a very long time. We're just getting into it. We're gecko breeders. We've owned, Audra and I have owned several other businesses, as well as we come from a law enforcement background. We're well versed in business startup and continued operation costs and effectiveness and management of businesses. The difference between everything is just the product. What is your product? What's the bottom line investment? What's the determining factors that affect business income versus cost of doing business and return on investment? I know I'm throwing a lot of stuff out there, guys, but I just also want to prefix everything with saying we are not accountants. We are not ball python professionals. We're trying to do our best at understanding genetics and understanding the market, which I think we fairly understand pretty well, but as well as understanding our direction. And it is not a get rich quick scheme. We don't really see it that way. We're looking at it from a different perspective, and we're going to be in it for the long haul. I wanted to put this video out there, basically talking about the scaling of projects, what to do, and more of the investment side of it. And again, this is just our opinion. You know, this is just things that we've lived and we're living right now. And it's gotten us to where we are in the industry, as well as in the gecko industry. That being said, you need to understand the power of a dollar, market. The way you think affects your way of life. What does that mean? That means we're conditioned generally to, at a young age, to go to school, get an education, go to college, get a degree, possibly go back, get a master's, doctorate, get out of school, and 90% of the time, go get you a solid, good job and work for someone. And that's fine. We can do that, absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. But we're conditioning the non-boss mindset. You can be a boss, and you know, not just, you can do that lifestyle and still be a boss in other areas. You can elevate hobbies into businesses, which is what we've done, as well as you can keep them as hobbies and be self-satisfying hobbies. But the money side of things, you kind of really need to adjust what our grandparents did to what's going on now. You can compare it kind of to the real estate market. You're going to have rise and decline, and it's all about equity. You need to understand that, you know, I use a lot of references when it comes to money. You know, $100,000, you put it in the bank, high yield account, a bank account where you have access to it. So I'm not talking about stocks and bonds, or you have things locked in and you have to contact somebody to access your account when you need money to release it to you, or cut you a check, or direct deposit it into your account within 5 to 7 days. No, I'm talking about money where you can go to the branch or whatever and readily have access to it. If you put $100,000 into the bank and you leave it in there for a year, and it fluctuates 105 or whatever, it goes up. It just never goes below $100,000. And for the sake of the argument, even in a positive account, you may end up getting what, $500 to $800 in interest, low-bearing interest on that money. But you had the satisfaction mentally of knowing that your money was there whenever you needed it. And I get that. That makes sense to a certain extent. But that being said, you got to understand that's what's happening with these entities. It's a little bit more complex than the simple version. I'm trying to throw this out there relatively quickly and not have a long, drawn-out video. But it's similar to the basic concept of, you have 50 people that decides they're going to go and bank with JP Morgan Chase. So they're going to bank with them. These 50 individuals have $100,000 each. Okay, and they decided to put it in the bank under that same concept. Now, that money is all in that bank, that money is all insured, and their bank accounts reflect that. When they see their balance, it reflects that. One of the 50 gets fed up and they want to switch banks or do whatever, invest their money somewhere else, and they want to go get it all. Not only are you going to have to jump through hoops, to withdraw your money or get a check or whatever it may be, they'll give you your money. That being said, like I said, you have 50 people total. That's all well invested into that bank. So basically that bank has $5 million. Off of that $5 million, the bank plays with your money. The bank makes tons of money off of your money and gives you that $500 to $800 at the end of the year on top of your money, when off of your money, they've probably made hundreds of thousands of dollars off of your money. Okay? And it's like a pyramid scheme for the banks. That's exactly what it is. And it's legal. So all I'm saying is, it's not that it's an unfair practice or anything like that, but you gotta understand what's happening. That being said, the reptile industry as a whole, long as you have the demand, the supply, I've never seen anything like this in business. It's literally you buy an animal, buy two animals, you breed two animals, and you produce your inventory, which is, that's amazing. And then everyone talks about the risk. There's a lot of risks involved, absolutely. One way that we mitigate risks here at Flaws Exotic Creations is, big projects where it's expensive animals, we don't go out and get one. We want to get 2, 3, 4, 5 of those animals. It doesn't quite make sense, I'm sure, but I'm gonna make it make sense for you. The reason we go out and we get so many animals in certain projects is because it mitigates our risks. How? I'll even tell you how. You have stranger, stranger clown. You have a stranger clown male. You situated yourself where you was able to go secure one for $8 grand. Financially, you want that animal. If that's all you can swing it. There's nothing wrong with just getting one, but I'm just trying to give you our perspective on it. We would like to hopefully get a minimum of 2 of them. So we try to financially situate ourselves to get 2 stranger clowns. Why? Are you going to utilize both? Yes, we'll utilize both, but we want to mitigate our risk. What do you mean? Well, it's an animal. It can die. It cannot survive. It cannot thrive. It cannot breed. So if you have one stranger clown that's not taking a breeding that season or taking his time, you won't reap the rewards of having that male right away. But the odds of you having 2 around the same size at breeding weight, neither one of them breeding, is highly unlikely. On top of that, you double the odds of, hey, if for whatever reason, some freak accident or whatever happens and one do not make it, it will literally suck. It will suck for you to have an animal that dies, especially a high dollar animal die. But the aftermath of having your one of one animal die, now you're back in the market trying to either reacquire another animal, or you're so devastated that you're like, screw this, I'm getting out of the hobby altogether and I'm gonna discount everything I have and get rid of it. You're gonna take a double hit. So the way we see it is, if that was to happen to a high value animal, it sucks. We will be devastated, absolutely, but you still have that secondary animal, hopefully to carry on that load, and hopefully produce and reproduce and create your backup animals for you. So that's a perspective that we look at. Also, you got to understand that in these animals, your investment, is at, your fingertips. So instead of you throwing in 100 grand and you getting 800 bucks back at the end of the year off of some interest, where someone else made the bulk of the money off of your money, off of your back, you can literally pick and choose your investments, whether it's real estate, whether it's other businesses, business startups, whatever it may be. We chose to get, not necessarily out of Crested Geckos, because we're gonna stay in Crested Geckos. That's where it's at for us. But we chose to diversify and climb over here into the ball python world. But we wanted to do it in a huge way. And I think we're trying to do that. We're not people that know everything. We just are learning along the way. We have some really cool mentors out there. Darren from Sloan Morris is amazing. Zach from Blackburn Exotics is amazing. Ozzy, we watched a ton of Justin videos. Bob Vu, I mean, I can literally call him in the drop of a hat and he's always willing to help. Amazing people in the industry. We literally believe in that concept. Audra always puts out there, hey, you hang around with 5 bums, you'll be the 6th bum. You hang around with 5 millionaires, you'll be the 6th millionaire. All that is talking about is your way of thinking. If you put yourself into a box, you will always think within that box. If you get out of that box, you will continue to excel and think outside of the box. That doesn't mean that everything will work. It just, especially the way we do it, we try to literally debunk every single idea we come up with, every single business practice we come up with, every single purchase we come up with, and try to figure out a way that it does not work for us, that we are not successful. And if we can figure out a way that it doesn't work, then we're not rolling with it. So that's how we pretty much effectively attack the business side of what's going on. So back to the snake concept of it, it's a simple question you ask yourself when you start pertaining with some of this money. Not saying that you're well off. You can have a very solid, active job. You can enjoy your job, but guess what? It's cool to have a hobby that pays for itself, and essentially you want to ask yourself at times, can you effectively say, hey, I'm going to leave 5, 10, 15 grand, 20 grand in the bank and just let it just sit? Or can I do without some of it for a time period? And then you got to start writing into a business plan what that time period may be. And you got to be realistic with yourself. But the way we bank on things, at the end of the day, we want to have a nice little nest egg sitting to the side, but we also want to have an investment, not necessarily play money, but we want to have investment money to the side as well, where we effectively have to utilize this to move us forward. Money makes money. So that being said, we don't want to, have our nest egg and then put away 15, 20 grand somewhere and just let it necessarily just sit there. I know it's there, it's just sit there. That's more of our grandparents' way of thinking. And I think we need to just evolve and test the waters in different areas. So what does that mean? That means, oh, well, this new project is coming out, it's gonna boom eventually, or this is interesting and you wanna work with it, work it. At the worst, what's the worst odds that can happen? You buy into a male or a female and it's $5,000 and the market on that project, it always fluctuates, so it goes down to half the price. Okay, that's not a big deal. All right, I spent 5 grand on a female that's now a year later worth 2,500. It's really worth a little bit more than that because then she gains a whole year worth of size with her. Maybe she's ready to breed. You breed her. She has a small clutch, or she has an average clutch of 6 babies. It's a recessive, it holds the value very well, 6 babies or whatever. And now that $2,500 snake that you paid 5 grand for has hets, and the hets are worth, I don't know, half the value. Again, I'm using it as an example, but half the value of the visual, half the current value. Current value is 2,500, it's worth half the value of the visual, so it's 1,250. You have 6 snakes at 1,250 in year 1 of your $5,000 investment. What's your odds? What are you at? You following? I know it. Yeah, you're at $7,500 after the first year in the declining market. Off a female. Odds increase with your males if you think about it. So what I'm saying is you're going to fluctuate with the market. You got to stop looking for everything to be a 1-to-1 return. Sometimes it's a 1-to-1 return. Sometimes it's a 1-to-10 return. But with these reptiles, you got to think about it. I just said all of that, and that was year 1. No one's talking about year 2, 3, your whole back, continuing the project, groundbreaking genetics. I just want guys to really open up their minds and see the opportunity that's out there. That being said, we're thinking about doing another expansion. I'm gonna throw it out there because, hey, if one of you guys jump on it before we're able to get back from release, you probably need to do so. But you guys need to go on Facebook Marketplace, and I'll try to put the screenshot up. But there's someone getting out take advantage of it. It's very, very, very pricey. It's a plethora of materials and stock, snakes, as well as equipment that's listed: incubators, racks, ARS racks, half racks, everything, 2 incubators, and they're asking 36 grand. If we can kind of make it work, we're gonna make it work. Hopefully they get back to us. For us, it would have to make sense because it's in West Virginia. So we have to figure out a way to rent a truck, go up there and get all the equipment. We are focused on our projects, but we're also looking at the business side of things. What we would do it for is, yeah, if there's anything groundbreaking that we can use in that collection, that would be awesome. But we would get probably a list of what snakes they have, because they're selling all their snakes as well. We would probably keep the equipment as far as racks and things of that sort. And we have no problem, you know, investing 30 grand or whatever into buying someone out, only to get it and say, hey, it's gonna sit here in our facility on our property. That 30 grand investment, you know, we're now not liquid and we have a whole bunch of inventory stock. And guess what? Even if we gotta sell it piece by piece, answering message by message for the next 2 years to make 90 grand, I'm fine with that. I'm absolutely fine with that. So this instant gratification we never expect. It just is what it is, and I think that the hobby has been doing so well that people are expecting that instant gratification, and it's not there anymore. And that's fine, because guess what? We're used to the grind, we're used to the struggle, we're used to the hustle. But hopefully you got a positive message out of this. Again, screenshot should have been up. I want you guys to go out there and get it if you wish to do so. Hopefully we can get back from police and get in that mix, and you know, maybe get a couple of employees to come up there with us, ride up there with us, and go pick this thing up. But it's Will, Flaws is Out of Creations. See you next time.